It seems one of the hottest topics in our hobby revolves around the use of hardware store paint on scale models. I get it. It's conveniently available, especially those that don't have a local hobby shop just down the street. If you are a member of any of the online social groups, you've likely seen some pretty epic paint disasters caused by this stuff. I know I have, which I don't think helps these people have a satisfying model building experience. But I have to admit, I've never considered myself a paint expert. The techniques I typically use I learned from reading paint articles from leading model car builders over the many decades I've built models. Are my paint jobs perfect? Nope, never. Some have told me they look pretty good though. I'm also a fan of the current lineup of aerosol paints from Tamiya. I've painted dozens of models with Tamiya paint, with excellent results. Often I apply this paint directly on the bare kit plastic without any use of any primer. I've been wondering if these same techniques work with this hardware store paint. I've decided to give it a try and compare the results against Tamiya right here. I'm going to try to show the entire process, so grab some popcorn and let's see what happens. So this is what I got. Some Rustoleum 2X Ultra Cover Paint and Primer Ultimate High Gloss in the Majestic Red flavor. Fast drying, indoor, outdoor. And we'll see how this compares to this. Tamiya color 4 plastics. TS-15 Boring Blue. I think that will allow anyone watching this to be able to tell the difference between Rustoleum and Tamiya. And here is the specimen. I dug this out of the burn pile, and this is the leftovers from a Bronco project I did where I cut some of the Bronco stuff off and added it to like a 94 pickup truck, which this was in the burn pile. And as you can see, I've primed this and haven't sanded it yet, but sanding primer is very important. But I wanted to do a test on primer and even bare plastic. Ooh. And so we shall see what comes out of this, because now it's sort of like a quasi pickup truck. No, not at all. As far as the kind of primer that I use, this is my go-to Duplicolor Perfect Match Scratch Filler. Might be a little bit thicker, but I basically use this when I'm doing a lot of body work. And after I get it real slick, I typically go back with some of the Tamiya white primer, depending on the color. If it's a medium color, I'll stick with the gray, or if I'm going to paint it black or whatever. But sanding primer is very important. And everyone that complains about the price of this, I buy it by the box online, and it's actually cheaper than Tamiya primer. So let's see what happens. All right, welcome to Tim Custom Spray Booth. Put a new filter in it just for this test. That's proved. And we're going to start off, as I said, with the Rustoleum 2K. And what I've done first is this can has been sitting in my food dehydrator for about the last 30 minutes or so. at about 105 degrees. So it's warm but not hot. Don't put your paint in an oven, please. Another thing that's very important is temperature. I highly recommend you get one of these things. And these are, you can get these things for like 10 bucks at Walmart. And it's going to tell you your temperature and your humidity. And as you can see, I'm a little humid down here. And 77 is pretty good to paint it. And the humidity is actually adjusting as I hold this measuring device. But it's about 60. We should be okay. You saw? I sanded the primer with probably some, I think it was 1800 sanding cloth, like what comes in the polishing kit. It could probably be a little bit slicker, but for this, that's good enough. What is blue, we'll save for the Tamiya paint. The Burn Pile Bronco, I have washed this in Dawn detergent with the duck on it, however you do it. If you don't want to wash your parts, that's up to you. I highly recommend it because a clean surface is going to give you the best paint surface. It's just factual. And as you can see, taped off the other side, that will be the side that we try the Tamiya. So let's get to hosing. Okay, the trick to this, any painting, is very, very thin coats. So I'm going to use my technique with 2X clear, or 2X red, Rustoleum, see what we get. That's probably enough for right now. First coat. This paint goes on very thick. It's kind of difficult to control. It's all it needs right now. Let this dry for, say, 10 minutes. So it's been probably about 6 or 7 minutes. I know I said 10. It was a pretty light coat. Let's see what happens next. The bare plastic Burn Pile Bronco. About all I've put on it right now. Very, very thin. Again, we're probably going to wait about 7 to 10 minutes. About 10 minutes later, we're going to put on third coat. Again, we're doing this very lightly. Looks kind of shiny right now. Hope it stays that way. Primered roof. Again, starting to gloss up a little bit. Now it's a little bit heavier coat on that piece. Again, we're gonna wait about 10 minutes. Okay, about 10 minutes later, here we are. It's almost an hour never. I think I'm gonna put one more coat on this because I don't know if more paint's gonna really help. See what happens. We're almost an hour into this painting session. I don't think any more paint is going to make it any better. Let's check it after 30 minutes and then pull the tape off. So back at the bench, I've got the cab piece here. It's about maybe 30-40 minutes later after that last coat. And this is typically when I want to pull tape because the paint has kind of skimmed over, but it's not fully cured. And so I don't think it's gonna chip. And I don't know, I think I got a pretty decent finish on the primered piece. See what happens with the other. Here's the burn pile Bronco. And I'll say that considering how crazed it was, you know, it's not bad. I don't know if it's really all that good, but this is what we got. I'm sure you can see some of the gouges from the bodywork when I cut that top off. But the paint, it's okay. Let's get the tape off, see what happens. I forgot how I masked this. There we go. I don't know. That looks somewhat acceptable. We're gonna, again, let this dry for quite some time.
Eternity later.
Actually, it's only about 3 weeks later. I didn't put this in the food dehydrator. I just let it air dry, and now it actually feels dry. I mean, it was, you know, after a week, it was still kind of tacky. But you see, I mean, it's got a decent gloss on it. You still see the door lines. And of course, we have overspray, but you know, this isn't really just a test. And on the hood piece, same kind of thing. I can feel the edge here, see what the paint buildup was to get to this level of shine. But we still have a door line here, and it got a little thin down in here, like right in here. But that's okay, it's a little powdery. Again, this is just a test. So let's get some tape on this side, see what happens. Hopefully it doesn't pull it off. You know, you never know. And we're gonna go paint some Tamiya paint. Stay tuned. I like to put it on my arm, make it less sticky. That looks good enough. All right, back at the paint booth. As you can see, we still have the blue filter from the gallery test. That's okay, it's still pretty new. And we're going to add more blue paint. The current weather is 76 degrees and 65% humidity. A little bit more humidity, a little bit less temperature, mostly all the same. same environmental conditions as the Rustoleum 2X. As seen before, we are going to use TS-15 boring Tamiya Blue. Probably going to be about like what's on that can, on that label right there. And it's been in the food dehydrator at the same temperature for about the last 30 minutes. The can is warm. It is not hot. Again, do not put your paint in an oven. Please, don't do that. So let's get to the hosing. All right, so first coat of the blue on the bare plastic side. Here we go. Same technique. We're going to just kind of dust it on. That's good enough. And then the primer side. Maybe a little bit too much coverage. It'll be all right. We're gonna let this dry about 10 minutes. All right, about 10 minutes later, it's probably about 7. So it's second coat on the bare plastic. It's a little bit wetter than I'd like at this point, but it's a test. We're just kind of going with it. Second coat, ready for primer. Just noticed my tape is puckered quite a bit there. That's going to be a problem. It'll be all right. It's a test. We're going to let that sit for about 10 minutes. Okay. About 10 minutes later. No, it's really only about 8. You knew I was going to say that. It's time to put third coat on the blue side. Just kind of watching the paint flow on it at this point in time. Still have the door lines, still have the emblem and the gas door. It's looking pretty good. I might not put any more paint on after that. We'll see. On the cab, we're going to put third coat. Put that on a little bit thicker. Kind of see, starting to get some gloss. And let this dry 10 minutes. So about 10 minutes later, no, it's really about 7.5 minutes. Here is where we stand with the blue side. I don't know, that looks pretty good. We have all of the detail on the hood. There's the hood right there. Hood looks good. It's a little thin. I think I am going to put one more coat on this. Just because we still have paint, mostly. I probably should have left it alone. Some wrinkling of just kind of, we're gonna just let it do its thing, folks. Let it do its paint thing. On the primered roof, here we go, 4th coat. So that's 4 coats, the same amount of coats as the Rustoleum. We're gonna let this dry for 30 minutes or so, and then we'll pull tape carefully. Stay tuned. Back at the bench, here is our blue Tamiya paint job. It's been about 45 minutes, and we're going to pull tape. And so I'm kind of trying to show you guys the level of finish that we achieved on the bare plastic. And this was 4 coats. Who's that? We good? Oh, there I am, I think. I don't know. Something's in there. Looks pretty good. So this will be a good test of how the Rustoleum adhered to the bare plastic to see if the tape pulls it. Oh, look at this. It is quite, all right, so far so good. It is quite patriotic. Kind of expected that. Maybe that was part of the plan. It's Ford Bronco, America, right? Okay, yeah. Let's just get the tape off. So far so good. It didn't really mar the finish. We're pulling very slow and easy. I did put this on my arm before applying, so it wasn't as sticky, because this tape, I mean, this is like real sticky. This isn't good tape, but it's just what I have around right now, so yay. Here we go. And of course, yeah, we got about the same amount of overspray. We weren't trying to make fancy lines. We were just trying to put paint on. So maybe I think that might have already been in there. Is that some kind of tape on the red? Can you see that? Maybe like right in here? Some kind of funky thing? I don't know. But it didn't mess up anything on the sides. And there's the blue. We're gonna let this dry. Probably, I don't know, 24 hours, 48 hours, probably not 3 weeks. But first, let's see how the roof came out. So here's the roof, and I'll get the stick out of the way. And if you look, it is not as glossy as on the bare plastic. And this is one of the things that I typically see with Tamiya on primer, is it's got a little bit of an eggshell. I think it just bites into the primer just a little bit. The Tamiya just works good on bare plastic. I've painted many models just straight on the clean bare plastic with the Tamiya. So let's try to get this tape off and see what happens. I'm a little concerned about this because this tape actually did lift the primer just a little bit in a couple little tiny spots. So hopefully we don't see that this time. I expect some overspray because this wasn't really rubbed down very well, but that's okay. And dun, dun, dun. Going very slow. It's kind of like maybe one little mark in the red. Oh, yeah, there's our overspray. Pulling tape very carefully. Okay. And on the back. All right. So there we go. And put that in frame. So here's what we got on red and what we got on blue. And this is on the primer. Ooh, in fact, is that the primer? Yeah, that's still the primer. I thought it looks white, but this is actually gray. So again, we're gonna let this dry probably 24, 48 hours. And we might try to put some wax on this and see if we can make it shine. But right now, on that piece, I would say the Rustoleum kind of beat the Tamiya. I don't know. What do you folks think? Drop that in the comments. But we're going to put some wax on and see what happens. Stay tuned. So for one last attempt to really complete this test, we're going to do some polishing on this. And I'm not going to use polishing cloths because these I typically use on a clear coated finish, and this is not clear coated. So we're going to save these maybe for another time, that if we clear coat something, I don't know. Do you really want to watch a polishing video? Probably not. It's not very riveting video. But what we're going to do is use polishing juice. We're going to start with the least abrasive juice and work our way into some more abrasive juice, which is not the way you do it, but just to see what happens. And then we'll work our way back through whatever we use. Does that make any sense? Likely not. So I have my old polishing rag, aka dirty t-shirt, and we've put a dollop of Novus on this. We're gonna just see if we can get a little bit of that pebbliness out of it. See what happens. And again, you know, there's all kinds of different ways to do this, but for this exercise, we are going to make purple. Oh, that's kind of fun. See what happens. And I'll say, okay, actually made the red a little bit better. Not so much on the blue. We need something a little bit more aggressive on that blue. I have the Wizards Finish Cut Compound. We're gonna see what happens with this. This is on the cutting scale, it's a 5 with a wool pad. You know, we're not up here at 12s because I think 12s would just really scratch it up. But let's see what happens with some of this. More dollop. It's white. And I think if you just spent enough time with this, it would probably do the job. So we're not going to really put it on the red right now because I didn't really think that the Novus had enough power to really make this good. So you can see how much paint it took off. Oh, now we're talking. Okay, so that certainly made a difference. Just, I mean, you saw what I did. It was literally 30 seconds of a little bit of rub and buff. Let's hit it with a little bit more. See what happens. Kind of like doing it this way, you don't worry about really burning through anything. And again, I mean, yeah, that did the trick right there. You can actually see the phone, my wonderful ring light. I think you can even probably read the case. Where am I? Oh, there I am. Ooh. You see? No, you can't see that. There's my fingers. Oh, let's just put some on that red, see what happens. Again, just a little dollop. You don't need to put the whole bottle on, folks. Again, oh, what's it doing? Actually hazed the Rustoleum a little bit. That's okay. It's kind of hazy now because this is a lacquer, and this was only painted 48 hours ago. This was painted 3 weeks and 48 hours ago. This is still softer than this, which harder paint is going to give you a deeper, richer finish. It's kind of like trying to polish a diamond versus polishing a piece of plastic. I don't know. What am I talking about? All right, let's go to the next less abrasive thing. More Wizards Shine Master Polish and Sealant. It's easy on, easy off, and protects in one step. This is really good stuff, folks. I really like it, and it smells so good. We'll put some on the dirty rag. See what we get as far as a little bit of shine juice on it. We got way too much. So what happens, this stuff also works really good on your car. If you want to put some of it on there, we're gonna just put it on all of it since we've put in the compound on both sides. All right, kind of let it haze, and then it comes off real nice. Ooh, now we're getting somewhere. Oh, look at that shine. And it even helped bring a little bit of the color back in the Rustoleum. You know, and you can see that the Rustoleum is not as level. It did not level quite as nice as that Tamiya on the sanded primer to 1800 grit. And then finally, we'll go back to the Novus. Ooh, that sounded great. Just a little dollop. And this is not very abrasive at all. This is just going to take out any final. You can see it took a little bit of paint off. Just to kind of finish it off. And which one wins? It's up to you. Put it down in the comments. So if you made it this far, great. This basically concludes my Rustoleum Tamiya paint test. Who wins? I guess it's up to you guys. What do you think? I would say for the ease of use, I mean, you really can't go wrong with this Tamiya. And how it looks on bare plastic, you know, this is no polish, folks. And that's, again, 48 hours. This is 3 days, or 3 weeks and 48 hours. But still, I would say it's pretty cool that I didn't have a major paint disaster by just using the same techniques. Now I didn't put any clear coat, and I didn't make any paint soup or salad or any kind of other weird stuff to it. I just applied the paint in the way that I normally apply paint. And I'm not going to tell you which one to use or which one not to use. I just want to share my experiences, and maybe you guys learned something out of it. I don't know. Or maybe you were amused by it. Maybe you probably say Tim needs to use Better tape. Yeah, we might talk about tape another time. You want to hear about tape? Put that in the comments too. I don't know. But as always, thanks for watching, and be sure to like, comment, subscribe. You guys know what to do, because I have all kinds of model car stories to tell. Thanks for watching.